Yeah, let's go, I'm ready, I'ma blow. Yeah. Yeah, now I'm ready, I'ma blow.
All right, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am your host, the Saint of TRWC, the real wrestling community on Facebook. I am also known as Ron Emerson. I am a professional wrestling ring announcer here in the independent circuit of South Carolina. Joining me today for the Wrestling Wire. Recently, we've had an upsurge and an uptick of independent promotions, and just so happened that I happened to catch one right after the announcement hit. Welcome at this time, our guest to the show, Mr. Shane Dorr. How you doing, sir?
Ron, it is a great day. How are you, sir? Long time coming.
Dude, so did you get the script? Did you get the script for this?
No.
Exactly, because there isn't one. For
I
everybody
was gonna say, wait, if there's a script, where is it at?
Exactly my point. So many people think that this shit's scripted for the way I do things. It's ridiculous. So I just wanted to kind of throw that little zinger out there. It was fun. It worked. Anyway, man, a couple years ago, back in 19, I hit you up for the first time because I was getting into some indie stuff, and you kind of gave me a couple pointers, tips, tricks, and I was appreciative. We talked again later half of last year. Because we were talking about a benefit thing we was thinking about. And then right after that, you walked out. You walked away from the industry. You had some stuff going on to take care of. But I see the other day that you're back. So what is going on, man?
Well, I had the pleasure to start what I think is one of the best professional wrestling promotions, and not just South Carolina, but just in the Southeast in general, in Palmetto Championship Wrestling. Man, I've been so fortunate and so blessed to be a part of it, and to see where it went, and left it in good hands. And I'm fully confident it's in good hands. But COVID came, kind of slowed everything down for everybody a little bit. In some cases, shut a lot of doors, and Palmetto Championship Wrestling was in a good spot and was able to overcome COVID, and now it's back, and so am I. I think one of the best professional wrestling organizations needs one of the best promoters, and that's why I'm back, because I think I see some places that Palmetto Championship Wrestling can improve, and I'm just here to help.
Oh, man, we got some people recognizing you. Let's see. Cole Maccabee says, Shane Dorr, where you been, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm back better than ever. Beard thick. I'm not even recognizable anymore, but it's all right. I'm excited. Cole Maccabee is another one, completely off topic. Probably one of the best promoters I know, one of the nicest men I know. So it's good to hear, Cole. I appreciate you.
Man, I was wearing my Pro Wrestling Union shirt when I interviewed him. I do a great deal with Cole. I love to work with Cole. So
see, yeah. And speaking of that, Ron, you said you wear a Pro Wrestling Union shirt. That I think that's something that's lacking is a PCW shirt. Seems like we're gonna have to get you one of them. Maybe one area I can help improve too.
Let's see here. Your next show is when?
March 5th. We're back.
March the 5th. All right. I'm at one show earlier in the day. I'm driving to Columbia that evening. If you have you got something for me, I'm on my way, my friend.
I got a spot for you.
I shall be there.
So, yeah, we're back, bigger, better than ever. We're going to be in. We haven't announced this yet, but it's permanently in Lexington, South Carolina. We got a new spot called the Taylor Plantation Event Venue. It's actually a spot that's normally held for weddings, so it's very upscale. Superb wrestling spot. We're ecstatic.
Gotcha. Cole also said, welcome back Randy Carpenter asks, will this be on later so I can watch? Yes, sir, Mr. Carpenter. This is on 3 Facebook pages. You got TRWC, you got my personal page, and then you got the Saint work page. You've got Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. I am working on editing down everything and start compiling actual podcasts, but that's a whole nother realm of, God, that's a lot of work when you're dealing with a full-time job and a family. So,
no, come on now. This is all you do.
No, I wish to God it was all I could do. I wish. Let's see here. We got a couple more people pop in. Jonathan Winburn. I do not recognize this man, but hell yeah. Welcome to the show. He shouted PCW, PCW, PCW.
See, he knows. He gets it.
Yep. And then a name you may or may not be familiar with, a Mr. Michael King.
Hello, Michael. How are you, sir?
Michael King is a manager down here. He's got a faction called King Enterprises. They've got some talent. Another thing you have to talk with him about, but that's all on there. I spoke with Michael last night. We were all at a wrestling show in North Carolina, and I told him, I said, well, hell, when I leave one show in Welford, I'm driving straight to Columbia. He said, well, hell, we might just follow you. I'm like,
well, let's go.
So
this is something very special to me. I mean, I don't think you've ever been to a PCW show before.
Nope.
So, I wish you had, and but it's okay. It's good. I think once I make this return back, I think it's going to be something huge. I've gotten a lot of love and outpouring from talent, people involved with wrestling, people involved with PCW now, and people that have been in the past. And I think it's going to be an awesome thing. It meant a lot to me to receive just the flood of messages that I did. So it's exciting. I'm beyond humbled and just ready to get this thing going.
Right. And see, I reached out to you as soon as I saw the post on Facebook. I was like, wait,
that was immediately, what? Man. I was like, what in the world? I was like, man, all right.
Well, if you got something to say, why don't we put you on a platform and put it out there this way?
Yeah, I haven't told anybody yet, man, other than that little post I did. So I appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, man. Let's see. You've got somebody saying, what's up from Virginia? What's up, Wesley?
What's up, Wesley?
We've got Josh Williams saying, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
He's a referee, I believe, located in Union, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Cole said, I may be there as well. It's in my backyard. Hell yeah. Man, I got
nothing but love for Cole Maccabee, man. Oh my God.
Yep. See, a lot of people lately, and this came up on we had a wrestling, what we call the Round Table Rumble on the 8th. And that's going to come up again later in my show because on the 8th was NXT, and I didn't watch it this week. But we were discussing how back in the territory days you would have traveling champions, traveling promotions, and things of that sort. And nobody was really saying how a lot of people were traveling. I'm like, well, you see Jake Jacobs travel a bit, and he'll carry a belt from one promotion to another, whether or not it's used or put on the line or whatever is another thing. Then you've got Pro Wrestling Union with their title being defended in Texas and Florida and here and Georgia and all this stuff. It's like, man, they get the rounds.
That's something I think is lacking, man. It's always been lacking in modern independent wrestling, especially is like the egos, man. That's something that never goes away. And I think something that's lacking and something I always brought to the table was the humility and a willingness to work with other people and other promotions and other talent. And I'm close with, and people think I have like this heat with people, right? And I have heat with nobody. I can honestly say if there's 6 years of doing this, I have no heat with anybody. There's nobody I have an issue with in professional wrestling. I have more issue with certain fans than I do with the people in the business. So go figure. Like Cole Maccabee. I mean, Brian Kanabrowski in PWX in North Carolina. You got Tracy and Brian at AML. Another good man is Josh Hancock and his team down at Viral in Georgia. I work with everybody. I've always worked with people. I always had a willingness to work with people. And there's just something about that. It just makes it for a better product all around, as long as you're doing business right by each other. And I think when you do that, you do right by the people. So I just think that's important. I don't know. Hey, it just came to me, so just don't mind me.
Right. Now I spoke I worked at a show called His right here in Packlet, and I didn't know who it was at the time. I didn't recognize him. And then all of a sudden it popped up on my Facebook, a friend request or whatever, and it was Zach Thomas from Patriotic. So I'm like, I'm seeing these guys working together. I'm like, well, damn, that's cool. It's good to know that that's still, it's not just in one company or another, but it happens in a lot of them. A lot of the little ones try to, trade talent and work amongst each other. And, that's cool for especially bringing more fans and drawing more eyes overall to your product.
Yes, sir. One team, one dream, baby. We all work together. That's the name of the game.
Cole said, love you and pro Palmetto Championship Wrestling. Michael King chimed in to say, let's talk business real soon. I've only heard great things, and I am drawn towards greatness.
Appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate that.
Michael King said, if you have a problem with Cole McAbee, you have a real problem with the man in the mirror. Damn.
Woo. Dang. All right.
I mean, that's, like I say, I'll put you, I guess, I met Michael at a show in Greenville last year, and immediately when I walked into the back after being in the ring the first time with the microphone, because something was wrong with the audio there, and I told everybody, hey, look, I don't care what you do, but don't walk around halfway of the ring. Your mic's going to cut out. It's a Bluetooth microphone. Please don't do it. All of a sudden, he's like, crap, that's good info. And the friendship just built from there, because I'm looking out for him as a manager who talks. You don't want to go out there and the mic cut out. So then we had Josh Williams say, I remember reffing at PCW when it first started. It was in a little tiny building and no parking area. To see where it is now is awesome. Shows how great of an owner and promoter Shane is.
Oh, man. I don't even know how to even respond to that. I remember Josh really well. And, I learned from a lot of people in the business. I watch a lot of people. I've gotten close to a lot of people. And in wrestling, you have to have the mindset of, I am the best. I am the best. You have to have that mindset to keep your priorities in line and to keep your drive there. Right. But you always have to be willing to learn and willing to adapt, and willing to change and willing to listen and have an open heart, open mind. And that's just something I've always been proud of. So I appreciate that, Josh. That means a lot because I remember Josh really well when we first started. And it's humbling, man, to see we were in the middle of the name of that place was the Warrior Warehouse in Columbia. And it's a little rinky dink. You couldn't get into it. You couldn't pull into it. Had no parking lot. It was horrible. We were drawing 30 to start, and we maxed out at like 130 in this building. And we pre-COVID got to 400 and 500, regularly all the time. And it's just amazing to see what hard work and surrounding yourself by the right people and the right influences and the right people with the right vision that share the same vision as you can do.
Right. Oh, 100% agree with that, man. I see how people interact. Like I say, the promoters will talk amongst themselves, and then the talent will be talking amongst themselves. And you figure out just by those conversations who wants to work with who and who wants to work where, and whether it be money or accommodations or what have you is their
egos.
Well, there's a lot of ego, but I mean money and cooperation. When you have a promoter that doesn't listen to the talent or listen to the fans, you're not going to have a product that lasts very long.
Sure. And you can equate that. And I don't, do you talk a lot? You talk a lot about the big companies on here. Can I talk about the big companies?
All day, every day. Go ahead.
While you're talking about listening to the fans, I think that's something. Going to the big shows, right? The big two, WWE and AEW. I think that's kind of what, for me as a fan, as a person that watches professional wrestling and is drawn to professional wrestling, that's what draws me to Tony Khan and AEW, is because no, they don't have the biggest show yet. They will at some point if they keep going the way they're going. I do believe that wholeheartedly, but Tony Khan does listen to his fans. He does. That company does listen a lot.
he does listen to the fans. My only thing against listening to the fans is this: in certain aspects, you've got to be able to have your wagon hitched to somebody who can drag it across the finish line. And by that, I also mean you got to have a name in lights on the side of that building that's going to make somebody want to pull off the highway, spend their hard-earned money to go see that person. And in my estimation, Chris Jericho is about that dude. So is CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, John Moxley. Those are probably my 4 big draws of the company. Now, from a Legends aspect, yeah, I would love to see Sting in person in my life and time. I'd love to see Jake Roberts in my life and time because I remember him from being a kid. I mean, he's involved in my estimation, Jake Roberts is involved in one of the greatest ever evolutions of character in the history of the industry of professional wrestling, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin's when he won that King of the Ring, and he did that "You Thump Your Bible" promo, and
absolutely.
It burned asses from around the world, man.
Absolutely, man. And to see, and I think that's what just makes somebody great is the evolution of somebody, the evolution of one's character and one's gimmick, and I just think that's what makes Chris Jericho great. I think that's what made him great, and I'll never forget, man. I can still see it this day when Jake the Snake showed up on AEW and cut that promo against Cody. Oh my God, man, unbelievable! You could feel it. You could feel it.
It was great. I mean, Jake's always been a phenomenal talker, but I mean, Jake's own demons were Jake's own problem. But I'm glad the man's clean and sober as long as he has been, and thank Christ for Diamond Dallas Page and
yes.
They tried to help out Scott Hall, and I hope to God Scott got help too. Because see, Scott Hall is a Southern Maryland guy. If you didn't know that, his brother was a cop in DC, if I'm not mistaken, and so was Batista's brother.
That the second part I didn't know.
Batista's brother was involved with some cat in Calvert County starting an MMA gym that I don't know if it ever came to fruition because I didn't work there any longer. But like I met this dude who was built like a brick shithouse and he was talking about working out and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. And he goes, oh, do you watch, UFC, MMA or whatever? I'm like, yeah, why? He said, well, Dave Batista's brother is in MMA and he's a cop. And I'm like, wait, what? Wow. It was just, it went out of this world for a conversation that I didn't expect to have. But let's see.
Out of this world.
Check this out. Here's a compliment I wouldn't have expected. They should bring Shane into AEW. Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought he was talking about you. He's talking about Shane McMahon as Kevin Owens 2.0. Unless
man, I was about to say, damn, that's a good compliment. Wow. Oh, well, never mind.
You talking about Shane Dorr? Or man, Wesley, you gotta clear that one up, homie. Is that a fat
joke? What is that?
I didn't know if he was saying you can talk that good, or if you can write and promote that good, or if he's comparing you to a wrestler. I'm like, what's the comparison, man? He's talking about you.
Man.
He's talking about you. But I don't know in what aspect he means, dude.
Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment because I'm a big Kevin guy, so I'm not gonna shoot that down whatsoever. You never know.
Yeah. I'm definitely a KO fan, man. I believe KO's you locked up on me there, homie. There you go. But I believe KO is one of the better talented individuals on that roster. All around talented in that roster. He's saying you look just like KO.
Talker, work. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't have his money, but it's okay. I'll get there someday.
Yeah. Well, Wesley, Shane's a promoter. I don't think Shane was in the ring, homie. And then
a couple years ago, what's he?
Cole had a big remark.
What's Cole saying?
Not always true about promotions not listening to fans or workers. Some have been around forever, but they still exist because the promoter uses talent, leads them to believe that's how the business works. I could go on about bad promotions, but let's talk about the good ones and the good things in this business. Yes, sir.
See, you can't, and I don't put down anybody. That's just not who I am, or not the kind of life I want to lead. But you can't talk about the good if you don't talk about the bad. That's a motto I live by. You have to be able to, you have to be knowledge bad and look at what's bad and what's not working and do the opposite. That's where guys like me come in, and Cole and Brian and Tracy and all, what's the other gentleman's name? APW Chester, William Roberts, another good man. That's where guys come in. We just say, put a foot down. No, that's how we roll. That's not what we do. That's not what makes this business successful. What makes this business successful is leaders that are willing to not haggle. I cannot stand if a talent. Hey man, don't just because I'm wearing my shirt, don't talk about my reception like that.
Hey, look, I purposely don't wear my gear that advertises who I work for. This is
you can't shoot on me like that.
This is an old ass video game T-shirt, man. I ain't reckon your shit that you're wearing. What I'm saying is your reception is killing me.
Oh, is that better?
Is cutting in and out.
Are we good now?
It's better now.
All right. Well, I'm just not going to move. I'm going to sit still, and I'm just going to stay right here in the sunlight because it looks good on me. But no, like what all I'm saying is, you got good people leading the business in independent wrestling, and to do the big thing is that people like us band together and we put our foot down and say we're not going to do certain things. We're not going to not listen to the people. We're not going to not listen to the talent. You listen to the talent. Don't haggle them on their money. If somebody, this is how they make a living too. If somebody says that they have a certain price, and they're worth it, there's no reason to shoot them down or undercut them. Don't say some talent can't work somewhere else. Stuff like that is always things I couldn't stand.
Yeah. Now, and I've heard cases of that where, you mess with this one, I'm not going to touch you again or whatever else. And it's like, you know what? Look, I don't give a damn how often you run. If a talent is worth more than what you're paying them and they want to run somewhere else and put on a hell of a show and sell their merch somewhere else, you let them go.
Yep.
I mean, it's independent for a reason. I don't see contracts. Now, the only time a contract or anything like that would ever come into play is this. If you were to develop 6 months worth of storyline and you needed XYZ of players, 3, 5, 7 men, or men, women, whatever the case is, you needed them to be there predominantly on those nights. You sign them to those agreement days. Then the rest of your card is independent filler. Now, by signing that one contract with them, allotting them more money for the shows that they do or whatever the case may be, hey, that's all well and good because it's an agreement. You're pre-booking them.
Yep.
That's fine. But in the case of, oh man, you can't go over there because they're going to pay you $10 more. Man, to hell with that. I do whatever I'm asked to do by whoever I'm asked to do it. That's the end all be all when it comes to me. Because I got no problem with nobody.
My motto is you go where you make your money. Because this time span is short. You go make your money. Now, something I always was big on, and I still a believer in. If you're working in another promotion that's in the same town, work with a promoter about how you're booked. If you're booked a certain way at company A, and company B wants to bury you, and they're in the same town, same fan base, that's something completely different, right? Be respectful on both ends for the talent and for the rival promotion, and just work together, please.
Exactly. You're not going to take a triple champion and have them squashed on your run. Their debut match. That would just
people do that. People want to do that though. Exactly. That's the problem. It's a mindset. Doesn't have to be that way.
It's disgusting. I mean, last night, for example, Chase Emery won the title for the match. The company we were at last night, HWA in Rutherford, North Carolina. That place was packed. It was standing room only in that place.
Love it.
But It was a fun show for what it was. It was different. I'd never been to a show in North Carolina, so that was definitely out there for me.
Yeah.
But to see him wearing 3 different heavyweight titles, well, 2 heavyweights and 1, I think, mid card title, is like, damn, he can't go to APW and get beat by somebody random as hell. It just wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Completely agree. You're going to a new venue. You've got this ticket thing with the veterans. Talk to me about that. What's up with this?
Yeah, so that was something I had implemented when PCW started, and it's something I'm always big on. I'm always big on giving back, and I'm passionate about our military, and I'm passionate about our responders and people in uniform and their families, especially their families, and veterans. I'm passionate. That's something I've always been passionate about, and I wanted to bring it back. So one of the things I announced yesterday was the re-implementation of partnering with VetTix. VetTix is a company. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that veterans and their families and active military personnel and first responders can go and get tickets for their families, for themselves and their families, to go to a lot of events for free, completely free of charge, and deservingly so. So I put PCW back on the map with them as of yesterday, and I allocated a bunch of tickets for veterans and their families and active military personnel and first responders to come back, come back to PCW, because that's something we're huge on. We're huge on just being able to give back to those who give everything for us.
I love that 100%. I love that. I mean, I'm the son of a veteran, and hell, most of some of the crowd that does watch this show, they're veterans. I always make sure, especially if they've been on the show, I always bring it up. Thank you for your service and whatnot. But that's real cool that you give back in that way, especially Christ, knowing what them fellas went through, especially overseas in this last go round, was a shit show. But
that's right.
So you've got that. What all can you tell me, man? Can you tell me any match details? What's the talent looking like coming up?
Man, well, I can't tell much, but
okay.
We have some unbelievable talent in Palmetto Championship Wrestling. I'm gonna harp on that. Guys and gals you'll always see. PCW Heavyweight Champion Chip Day out of Georgia. Absolutely amazing, phenomenal talent. So if you haven't seen Chip Day, you'll see him at PCW. Soda City Champion Patrick Scott. As seen on AEW, he's been a phenomenal part of PCW since its inception. You got talent like James Johnson. You got talent like Ethan Case. I mean, the list goes on and on about the phenomenal talent that walks through PCW's doors, and it's just, you're not going to get anything new. You're not accustomed to with PCW. That's for sure. You might see some new faces, but we have an absolute impeccable roster.
I met and saw Ethan work at the charity show in 19 in Spartanburg. I remember that one. And then
that wasn't that Old Crow show, was it?
The one that was at
the barbershop outside?
No. It was a charity show late in 19, in like November or some mess. It was a cancer benefit for a family down here in like Cowpens, I believe it was. And they did it at Broome High School. He worked that show. The international superstars were there. I think Ellie was like holding his kid or something during the match. I can't remember all the details. But she was cool as hell. And then Jamie Johnson, or James Johnson, everybody's favorite hippie, man. He's cool as shit. I've loved talking with him.
He's a PCW original, man. Fun fact. So let me think here. Yes, James Johnson is the only remaining PCW original from day one that started with me. He is OG to the core, man. He is. You should have seen him before he was the hippie. That's for sure. You wouldn't even believe it was the same person.
I've liked every interaction I've ever had with the man. I believe I have met him in person. Now, his daughter, Selena Rose, dude, I met her, and you want to talk about just one of the nicest people. I can't remember who the match was. it's on one of these posters that I've shared. But she was in a mixed tag match, and I announced them, and then when they came back through, she came up to me and personally thanked me for announcing her, and I'm like, what? She goes, no, man, thank you. And I'm like, thank you guys, because it was just so cool to have somebody come out to you and do that. And I'm like, dude, what a class act, So I don't know what James Johnson does, but he does a damn good job of it.
Well, he's an Ethan Case guy, man.
Yep.
I mean, I can't speak enough about what that man, and you saw Ethan Case work, and he'll blow your mind, man. A lot of people pass judgment on what one looks like, and let me tell you something. There's a couple guys that will throw that all out the window. Ethan Case is one of them.
Ethan Case is one of them. I mean, not to compare apples to oranges, but I mean, he doesn't give me the vibe of a Keith Lee, but he will surprise your ass like Keith Lee will.
Brother, he can go. I mean, straight up go with anybody. You put him in the ring with a broom, he's going. We got
a match request for you, homie. It says James Johnson versus Chip Day, please, and that's from Cole McAbee.
Cole knows what's good,
right? I know he does. Now, Wesley asked, is Chase a promoter? Chase is a wrestler we were talking about. This is Shane, or Chase is a wrestler. This is Shane. Shane is a promoter, booker, owner of another wrestling company here in South Carolina. From what I understand, he was putting on some of the largest shows in the area of the upstate when it was running. Pre-COVID.
Yeah, remember, we're in the Midlands.
That doesn't count as upstate?
Upstate is Greenville, Spartanburg.
Oh, Jesus. Anderson? Okay.
Anderson, that's the upstate. Yeah, we're in the Midlands. We're down in Columbia.
Oh, okay. Man, I'm not from here either, so I really don't know. Like, I am very sheltered, dude. I got like an 8-minute ride to Walmart or the other way to another Walmart, and that's it. Like, I don't go anywhere. That's the way. You're cracked out again. Change that. You're 100% gone. What happened? Well, Shane's having some audio video issues on his end with his reception, I guess. But we're not dogging T-Mobile here. But I where he works must be in the middle of nothing. I don't know where he is. Are you back?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable, bro. And why has it got to be blamed on me?
Because it's your end. Fault. Do you not see? Look,
I don't.
This computer over here is running like hell.
It's hardwired connection, brother.
I'm hardwired, man. This computer's running like shit. It sounded like a diesel when it started up. I was like, oh, God, don't blow up today. Let me get through the show first.
Oh, Jesus, man. Oh, technology. Hey,
but look, I built this turd in 2009 was when this thing started.
If I knew I was going to cut in and out, I would have put on my AT&T gear or something.
Well, I don't have them either, so we'll just stick with that. I don't use. They're too expensive for me. I'm not working with AT&T.
Oh God, man,
way too high. My bill was like $250 a month for 2 phones.
Hey, man, let's not even talk about cell service, man. I'm here to talk wrestling. I'm just happen to be at my shoot job, taking time out.
Yeah. I hear you. So. That's cool. Now, can we expect to see the blue collar badass make an appearance, Mr. J.D. Drake?
Can't tell you all that.
Okay,
I can't tell you all that, man. I can't give away certain things yet.
It's not all good. So,
but you can expect J.D. Drake to be in PCW. I will tell you that without a doubt. That's another person that helped get PCW off the map. He's another one that from the beginning, he was he started at our second show back in 2016. And man, we rode JD Drake to the top. I mean, I can never speak enough good about that man. Another one that people like to judge based on his look.
Exactly.
And he's my number one. He's my number one on the list. Where if you tell me you're going to judge on somebody's look, that you're going to think they can't go, he's number one. Period.
There you go. Perfect. Get out of the sun just a hair. We're good to go. So JD Drake was they're perfect. JD Drake was another one that was at that charity show.
Yeah.
I think he was in a tag match with like Barbarian or maybe Lodi. I can't remember all the. I have bad memory, so I have to write everything down. But he just got announced that he's working the May show for Pro Wrestling Union as well, which Cole announced on here last week. Yeah, it was last weekend. I had a doubleheader interview because I double booked myself into a corner because of some, personal life happenings. I just wanted to make sure I had a guest. But here we are, Super Bowl Sunday, talking professional wrestling, and this is where I'd rather be because I don't watch wrestling. B, I don't have a dog in the fight. So it's like I watch the halftime show, but beyond that, I could give two shits less.
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. I'd rather talk wrestling any day of the week.
You got that right. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. So this is Mr. Brino Royce. He is the Rolls Royce of professional wrestling. He is another independent talent down here. He will more than likely show up for Palmetto Championship Wrestling, and he'll more than likely be with Michael King. And because they travel around a good bit, they check out everybody else's work, and they like to know where they want to work. So,
okay, come, man. I can't stress enough. Always come in person. Always introduce yourself,
dude. I'll put you, I guess. We'll have to make it so you show up and see this kid work, because some of the shit that he does you don't see here, and that's what's different. Let's break down something, because you brought up a point earlier. You wanted to talk about the big shows. I want to bring up what I think was one of the greatest tag matches I've seen in a very long time per any company on the television set, and that was actually CM Punk and Jon Moxley versus FTR. Now, here's my thing. I love that match because it was physical, it was visceral, it was psychological, and it was violent. I didn't have to worry about seeing 7 people outside the ring ready to catch some bitch going over the top rope. I didn't have to worry about that. So I was thrilled. It wasn't a spot fest. It told a story. And that's what it takes for me to get invested in something. If something's a spot fest, I'm going to sit there and probably damn near sit on my hands.
Yeah.
But if they're working that arm, if they're tweaking that neck, if they're working that leg, I mean, it's like, all right, they're chopping that tree down. They're breaking Big Boy down. You can see it start to contort and where it's going, and it just fits. Storytelling is a big proponent, and I freaking loved that match.
And let's not cut out that. I think of all the statistics or all the things that make a tag team great, I think FTR is probably the best in the world, man. They're old school. They're old school. They look great. They just, and the new, and something it begins with the entrance, right? And that music, man, that music is on par. And I just think their work is just second to none. And just putting them in the ring with a team of like Punk and Moxley. Oh God, I just loved it. Every second of it, man. I was invested, eyes glued. I could not walk away. Nothing could interrupt me from taking me off of that TV set.
And I agree. I agree in a lot of that. Now, because today's market in tag teams has predominantly gone to the spot shit show that I don't appreciate, because I'm not invested in that. I'm invested in seeing I don't want to see somebody bleed, but I want to hear cartilage snapping from where I'm at. Like, I want to hear the bones crunching.
Yeah,
That's my type of existence because you can feel it when it's real. You feel it.
that's right.
The spot stuff doesn't do it for me. So yeah, at this point in time, I have to agree with a friend of mine who the other night stated FTR is the best in the world. I'm inclined to agree because there's just a lack of good shit out there. So because of the lack of talented tag teams, yeah, I have to go that way. But if you were to put them if you were to inject them in another era, let's inject FTR into the age of the New Age Outlaws and the APA and the Dudleys. The Dudleys, by far and large, are my favorite tag team in the history of this industry. There's in my book, there's nobody draped in more gold around the world than them two. That's me. But if you inject them into that age, Edge and Christian, the Young Hardys, and all that, I think you've got just a recipe for main event disasters everywhere, just breaking records.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. They're just so good, and I do agree. I'm a Dudley Boys fan. That's probably my favorite tag team all around, in history. I just think everything they've accomplished, not just in one mainstream company, but several mainstream companies.
Yet again, and around the world, they went around the world and achieved greatness everywhere they went, and that speaks volumes because you've got to get over in different ways in different places. You can't get over here in the States the same way you will in the UK. You've got to
That's
be a
right.
bruiser. I think that FTR would be a nightmare on the UK scene.
You have to be willing to adapt to where you're at, and it's a different type of wrestling all around the world. You go to Mexico, you go to Japan, you go anywhere in the UK, in the States, and they can do it all with anybody. So that's why I think they're the best in the world today.
Right. Now, speaking of the UK, I really do believe that one of the greatest matches that could ever transpire in this day and age, given both styles, is FTR versus Imperium. I really think that would be just take my money. Honey,
Yep.
get the wallet. I swipe cards. We're done.
Don't care how much it is.
Yep, I'm paying to see that. I agree entirely. So Josh Williams said, I would like Shane to talk about Shay, which I believe is Shay McGrady from High Profile. I think he will agree with me on highly underrated.
Shay McGrady, an OG at PCW, another original. He's got to be 5'6", probably 120 pounds. Probably being friendly.
On the 120, I'm gonna agree.
Super kind individual, willing to do anything above and beyond. Miss him to death. I still talk to him occasionally. He's a Washington Commanders fan, aka the Redskins, and I'm a Cowboys fan, so we don't really get along on that side of the token.
At first, I didn't know what you were talking about when you said Commanders. I've got some Redskins gear because I'm from DC, but I haven't watched football in about 8 or 9 years, pal. I love the XFL. That shit was gold.
Oh, it's about to pick back up, but
I can't freaking wait.
Back to Shay, man. If you've never met Shay McGrady, you have a big void because the team collectively was amazing. High Profile with him and Will, especially in the Carolinas, absolutely amazing together. But Shay individually, he could go with anybody, man. He actually carried our heavyweight championship for a brief period. It was just part of this is our story, and it was, and how it culminated was amazing. And it actually was him going up on James Drake, and those are two individuals that worked each other. I must have been 10 or 15 years, because they're both from Shelby, North Carolina, and absolutely amazing. He can go with anybody, and he's just smart, and he's just I love Shay, the biggest little man for sure.
Yep. Oh, I met yet again. I think that was the charity show they were at, and I didn't know who they were. I'm walking in carrying a suit or I was walking in a suit, and they were like, "Look at this effing guy," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, what's up?" Yeah, because I'm wearing a bow tie and suspenders and shit, and I got a hat on like a jerk off. I mean, it's like, what the hell? What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing commentary, but I don't know anybody. I'm screwed. This is gonna be weird, and it was. It was a train wreck, but it
Man,
was fun.
did you have a conversation with Shay?
I've had a couple of conversations with him that night and another time at another show. And like the kid's out there, but he's cool. Like he was just really nice to talk to. So I
Hey
agree with
man, you know.
yeah, oh, you can tell high profile means something. God damn.
God dang it.
Hey, look, dude. There's there's a reason they call me the Saint. I'm not a candy salesman. I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. All right. That's the rules of the show. I'm gonna tell you
He's a
my
tip.
opinion, whether you like it or not. Let's
God
see.
dang, man.
My man Wesley chimed in. He said pro wrestling's an art form and tag team wrestling is like a dance. Dude, if that was a dance, they did the waltz perfectly. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That match was great. They're kind of doing what the Road Warriors did back in the day. They go where they want to go and wrestle who they want to wrestle. They wrestled the Rock and Roll Express a couple weeks ago. Yeah, they did. It was right here in Spartanburg. I'm pissed I didn't go, but alas, you know, when you got things to do, you got things to do.
Yep, they're absolutely amazing.
Yep. And then let's see here. Brino Royce agreed with us. Man, you gotta look this kid up. I'm gonna tell you what. Especially check out his interview that he did with Scott Larson. And myself, because he did one with Scott. I don't know if you know Scott Larson from #Truth. But before we go any further, I do want to say one thing about Mr. Scott Larson. Last night it was Scott Larson, myself, Harry Bernard Taylor, and Christopher Burton. So you had the Straight Up Wrestling Show over here, Christopher and Harry. You had me from this one, and you had Scott from #Truth. The four of us met for the first time in person together. We got a hell of a picture together. And we did that. I did it for one reason. Scott's having a hell of a procedure done on Tuesday. He's having something done, surgery on his brain, actually. And I wanted to make sure that I got to meet that man and shake his hand. Just, I pray to God nothing happens to him, but you gotta try to give somebody their flowers while they're standing. And I wanted to make sure I shook that man's hand. So
that's right.
So
that's what it's about, brother.
So Scott, if you're hearing this, man, nothing but the best for you in your surgery, man. And I hope to hear from you and your wife shortly thereafter. Okay. So I appreciate that. But let's see. People talking about tag teams now. We gotten into tag team wrestling. Some people talk about favorite tag team have to be the Hart Foundation. Which time and which side? I mean, the heel side, the face side, version 1 with Hart. And
which incarnation?
Yeah, exactly. Which time? There's so many variations of the Hart Foundation. I've liked all of them. HBT just chimed in. Harry Bernard Taylor. This is one of the hosts from the Straight Up Wrestling Show here on Facebook. Give them a like, share, subscribe, notification, all that jazz. They do some cool ass work. They do a lot more in depth. They give a rating system, which I don't do. I don't do rating systems. I'm not some idiot that from like Dave Meltzer. I don't like to tag things like that. I am not a Dave Meltzer guy, so I don't go there.
Understand?
But so, anyways, man, I understand that we're getting here. We're getting there towards the end of your time of availability. So Josh mentioned that he was talking about version 1 where it was Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart. So that's cool.
Yes.
But anyway, man, it was great having you on the show. You got anything last minute? Lay it out for us. Give me some details, time, place, social medias we need to follow, shit we need to see. What do we got to do?
Yes, absolutely. Follow Palmetto Championship Wrestling on Facebook. That is our biggest avenue for social media. Palmetto CW on Instagram. Check us out. Check out the return. I'm back. PCW is back to its truest form. It's how it's meant to be. It's how it's going to be. It's going to be the best show we've had. March 5th, Lexington, South Carolina. Bell time 6 p.m. Doors open at 5. Tickets start at just $10. We've kept the same price since we started the company because we don't believe in using professional wrestling as making money for us. We believe in bringing back to the community and giving back to the community and giving people an alternative to what they enjoy most. So come check us out, Palmetto Championship Wrestling, Lexington, South Carolina, Taylor Plantation event venue, Taylor Avenue. Look forward to having everybody. Reach out to me, message me if you've never been. Message me. We'll get you taken care of.
Yep. All right. And what day is that? March 5th,
March
right?
5th. It's going to be a Saturday.
What time?
Doors open at 5. The bell time's at 6.
I've already taken off work that day, so I'll see you at the show.
You message me. I got you taken care of.
You already know I'm coming. So
you got it.
I'll see you there, sir.
Look forward to it, Ron. Thank you so much
man.
for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, man, we'll have you back when we can announce more stuff, okay?
You got it.
Hell yeah, sir. Thanks for your time, man. Have a great one. Be careful getting home.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Shane freaking Dorr, man. What a cat. I can't wait. Harry, man. Yeah, dude, I'm going. I'm leaving right from one show going to the other, and I'm not missing it. There's too much going on. There's too much surrounding the show for somebody to want to miss it. But that's a lot of the shows down here these days. You know, nobody's going to want to miss the big ones coming up from Pro Wrestling Union. Nobody's going to want to miss the ones, this huge return for Palmetto Championship Wrestling. But there's just a lot going on to it. And Harry, you know, just to make sure we're clear, y'all doing the rating system is dope. I love the fact that y'all do it. I don't want to do it because I don't feel like that's something I need to do because there's so many people doing it, and I like y'all doing it. I don't like Dave doing it, but that's just me and Dave. I don't like Dave, but that's just me. If you ever wonder why, it's because of the way he does a lot of the spoiler shit on one side of the ball, but he won't do none on the other. It's like, dude, you're purposefully trying to Tony Schiavone that ass in today's market, and I just really disagree with it. So that's my real main issue with him. But man, you know, a lot of people are up in arms right now. Monday Night Raw. So look, there is so much going on. Why are we doing this? You know, academic challenge. PWI. Are you talking about the PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated? No. So he is Dirt Sheet Radio, I think. I don't even know what company Dave Meltzer's with. I can't remember, but I know PWI. He may be involved in PWI. Maybe he owns it. I'm not 100% sure. But he's on like Twitter and stuff, and his bullshit gets him hammered more than anything. But it's funny to me that the guy continually does. Let me keep this all a secret because I want these guys up here, but let me blow the secret over here because I want them to fail. That's the way he comes off. He comes off as he's trying to promote one and demote the other. And in my book, it's all professional wrestling. It's all preference. I don't need you to tell me what I should like. I'm not watching CNN. I'm not watching Fox News. I don't need you to tell me what I need to believe and what I don't need to believe. I'm smart enough to formulate my own opinion. I don't want you to spoil something for me because of you think it's in my best interest. No, just screw that and screw you there, guy. And then HBT stated I ain't realized Meltzer was doing it until after we did it, even though you did know who Dave Meltzer was. Right. I mean, that's because for what it's worth, most people of, a higher intelligence level for the wrestling industry don't pay attention to douchebag Dave. I mean, we're just going to call it like that. If we're going to go with DMD for Britt Baker, we can go with DBD for douchebag Dave Meltzer. We can stick with that. Wesley, thank you, man, for letting me know you'll be back, brother. Take it easy. Be careful out there. Hollering in here, this whole thing with Otis and the Alpha Academy, and Riddle and RKO. We know what direction this is going. I don't see the Alpha Academy dropping the titles back to RK Bro. I don't see RK Bro lasting much longer. It's been interesting, but you can tell that Randy Orton's not the type in his career to put up with a losing team. That's just him. Look at what he's done forever. The rated RKO thing, the whole legacy thing, evolution, all that shit. Well, he was kicked out of Evolution for winning the world title, but that's beyond uh, our wavelength. That was all just a great storyline in my book. But yeah, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Alpha Academy, defeat the Street Profits. That match was all right. I mean, it had a couple of fun spots. I really do believe that that's their next big challenge. I also believe that the Alpha Academy is going to be dropping the titles eventually to the Street Profits, which, if that happens at Mania, I am all freaking for it, because Montez Ford is one of the most talented wrestlers they've got these days. Man puts on a hell of a show, and he's just athletic as shit. And I love to see a guy being able to be that athletic, perform at that level. It's awesome to me. AJ Styles defeated U.S. champion Damian Priest. My man is on a losing streak right now, man. Damian Priest on a losing streak. And it sucks because I genuinely like the cat. I think he's really talented. It's just one of those things where, why? Why are we losing? Why are you going to have a champion lose if he's not dropping a strap? There's no real way that this makes sense to me. There's just a lot of different stuff going on. And you got to make sure that you've got accountability for your actions. You got to make sure that the story's going somewhere. Are you sending him down this losing path so that way he really comes unhinged and then he goes freaking nuts on people? Because if that's the way it's going, this is going to work out. But it all depends on how you do it. Now, then we had Dominic Mysterio defeating The Miz. Man, that was a cool spot. The way they switched it up and had The Miz get tripped up. After Dom got tripped up by Maurice. It was just a fun match. It was a good time, and it worked. Bianca Belair defeated Nikki ASH. Ray Charles could have seen that one coming. Great showing yet again for Bianca Belair. And it looked like, Nikki Ash looked pretty good in her match as well. Kevin Owens defeating Austin Theory. This was match of the night by a long shot for me. Austin Theory is as good of an up-and-comer as anybody else I've seen on television lately. He's just a very talented, very athletic young man, and he's got the crowd going. He's got a good look. He's right there, and it's wicked watching him work with Vince. That's kind of that's a little bit more out there to me, but for the most part, it's a fun time. Let's see here. 2 weeks straight as the best match. You damn Skippy, Harry. You got that right, man. Let's see. Then we had the whole setup with Lita and Becky Lynch going into their matches coming up. It worked. It made sense. Do we really need to keep going with them two touching each other, or do we need more of a separation of the two to try to build that tension and build the anxiety in the crowd and the angst in the crowd for us to want to see them get their hands on each other? If they're constantly getting their hands on each other every week, what's the damn difference between them having the match now and them having the match then? At the Saudi show. What's the difference in waiting? If you're going to go ahead and let them smack each other every week, it's kind of out there, The separation is a good thing. You're giving them time apart. You're giving it a chance to breathe, and you're giving it a chance to build and grow. Man, you smother something, it's just rough. It's just rough. We had some comments here. Austin Theory reminds me of Fandango when they were expecting so much, but Willie filled them shoes. Man, the issue with Fandango is I can't see a dancing gimmick getting over as well as it did then. Having him go over Jericho was a huge notch in the kid's belt, but it didn't pan out in the end. And it's not because they didn't get behind him, because they sure the hell did. What are they going to do? Give the guy the world title? He's new and he's not that over yet. I mean, it didn't get over that good. And then he follows up with Tyler Breeze. Never. Mid-card title run at best, in my opinion. or create a new title, light heavyweight champion. I'd be all aboard on that. That's where I think they need to go anyway. Unify the big title, bring in two lower tier titles, so that way you got uh, two singles men's titles on each show being defended, and then one tag title because you ain't got but a handful of tag teams. That shit can go back and forth to each show just fine. I think that's the way to do it. The main champions are the main champions, and we keep them the main champions. That's my idea on that one. Dewdrop defeated Liv Morgan. Not really happy with this. I'm a huge believer that Liv Morgan deserves to wear the title, number one. I also believe she's earned a good WrestleMania spot. So I am really still thinking that Liv Morgan is going to be going up against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania at this point in time. That's kind of where I'm sitting. How is she going to win the chamber? I have no idea. But will it work, or are they doing a chamber match? I got to look that up. I don't think the women are doing a chamber match. I have to look it up again. I've done forgot at this point. Oh, yeah, it says future opponents inside the Elimination Chamber. So, yeah, they are doing an Elimination Chamber match. My bad, folks. I messed that up. Riddle and Seth Rollins ended in a no contest. So, my thing is, I have gotten a lot more respect for Seth Rollins and gotten a lot more behind Seth Rollins because he's performing on a different level. His gimmick is better than the whiny bitch heel, so I like that. The kind of madness presentation works with him, so I like the persona. His moveset's still good, and he's gotten a lot safer in the ring, which I greatly appreciate. Once I finish Monday Night Raw, I will be speaking about some spots from over the weekend. Last night's indie show that I attended with some friends who were there. Great thing was one person figured out I was coming. Out of the whole freaking sold out venue, one person was like, "Oh, he's going to be there," and I can't wait to say that about her because she was the only one that figured it out. I actually didn't plan on going there until I think I had decided the day before I was going to go. But at any rate, so because that ended in a no contest, we ended up with Seth freaking Rollins and Kevin Owens defeating RK Bro. Yet again, I said Randy Orton is not going to tolerate being on a losing team. So now you just had your number one contenders for the tag titles lose a match against a really not formed tag team. Guys, give me a break. Give me some story continuity here. We can see where it's going. The writing's on the walls, and we can read the braille, man. We can feel this coming in. So that wraps it up for Monday Night Raw. Overall, it was a pretty good show. 3 hours, yet again, is still a long time, and it's a lot of stuff to take in on a Monday night. But in the end, if they would cut out the recaps and stick with vignettes instead of recap segments, I'd be happier. Because vignettes are going to build your stories, build your talent, give them a chance to talk, give them a chance to get out there to where people are getting more invested in them, able to feel and conceive and just absorb their product and their aura. They're going to be able to gravitate more towards that individual. So I'm gonna harp on a couple things about this indie show that I was at over the weekend. HWA Bunkhouse Brawl 4. That's where I was in attendance. Got the poster over here. I'm not gonna grab it. Thank you, Missy Childers, for the poster. I greatly appreciate it. I didn't decide until Friday that I was going to go to this thing. I decided I was going to leave straight from work, drive an hour and a half into North Carolina, and go be there. I wanted the chance to say hey to Scott Larson and see other people who I figured would be there. Pleasantly surprised by a couple of extras in Brino Royce and Michael King showing up. I was like, well, shit. Okay, this is going to be a party. So we're there. We're watching the show. Opening match, featured a tag team wrestler in a singles match against a singles wrestler. And overall, wasn't a bad match. There was a couple spots that I was just like, okay, feed off of that, carry on, keep going with this because you've got them hooked. Can you drag them in? You're going out into the deep water here, but what's the plan? The second match, I believe that was a tag team matchup. Or was the second match? I don't remember match order. It don't really matter what the order was, but there was a title match. I think it's their mid card title was on the line, and the dude come out there and you could tell his name is ADD because he wrestles like he has ADD, and I believe he does have ADD, and it shows. But it was entertaining. He had the crowd going. It worked for the crowd, and the other guy was the biggest heel. But you had these kids with these rubber chickens throwing them and stuff at the wrestler and making all this noise. And it was a fun time for the kids. That was cool. After that match, you see a female come out, this blonde bombshell, dare I say. I think her name is Mrs. Larkin. I think she goes by like Stone Cold Fox Larkin or something like that. I don't know her from Adam, but hell, I was like, right on, cool. Let's see what this woman has to do in the ring because I want to see this. So she gets involved late in the match. The match ends in a roll up. Your champion retains. Then after that, another match starts right up, and I'm like, well, what the hell? How does this work? Is this thing like always on the line if the character's in the ring? Like, what is this? But it worked. I'll be interested to see what happens from here on out on that one. I definitely want to see Fox Larkin work in the ring again because just the spots she took, the bumps she took last night were freaking amazing. So I'm like, dude, if she can take that kind of a beating, I wonder what she can do when she's able to put the beating out there. So I'm really invested. I want to see that. Yeah, Stone Cold Fox, Mrs. Larkin. Thank you, HBT. I appreciate that. Yeah, I want to see more of her for sure. I believe she's signed to work a match for Pro Wrestling Union coming up soon. I don't know which show, but I want to see that for certain. Caleb Crocker, the guy seems like he's got a pretty good moveset. He seems like he's pretty safe and sound in the ring. What I did not like about Caleb Crocker, man, I did not like that unprotected chair shot that he took from Chris Thunder Anderson. Dude, I don't know how old you are. I really don't give a shit what your age is because that's irrelevant to me. What is relevant to me is concussions and what they do to a person's brain. I don't want to see anybody end up in the shape that some of these guys and ladies that have taken repetitive concussions are in. It's not safe. It's not okay, and I don't like it. But that's me. I didn't like that. To me, that spot pissed me off more than it excited me or made me into the. To me, you damn near sucked the life right out of the crowd when you took that bump because instead of people seeing the rest of the match and everything that was going on, because it was a brawl with 10, 15 people in the ring, I was like, damn, dude, is that kid really up or what? Like, is he really KO'd? Did a great job selling. If you weren't, buddy, I'm gonna tell you that. But when I looked at you, your eyes looked glazed over. So if you've got a way to make your eyes glaze over, pal, you're gonna go somewhere. So that was cool. Another unprotected shot in the head was the ukulele. The ukulele, man. They busted a ukulele over this one kid's head. And I don't know. I think that's what led to him being knocked out of the match. It was a battle royal style match. The Bunkhouse Brawl is a battle royal. It was supposed to be 30-man. It got cut to a couple less because of COVID and injuries and other things come up. So, you got to try to be careful and take care of others. And, I applaud the promoter for his statements made as far as it goes with saying that, hey, man, look, because of COVID, there's not going to be that many people here. That means that the wrestlers gave a shit enough to care about the talent and the fans in attendance. If they were not feeling well, they decided not to be there and involve themselves. Amen, brothers. Amen to all of you. I love it. That is gold. That means that you've got a good booker, you've got a good promoter, and you've got good talent that's willing to be there and say, you know what? It's not safe. No, I'm in. I loved it just for that alone. It was, man, that was a hell of a statement. Good job. Great work, great work, great work. So let's see here. I don't either, man. It was crazy. Hell yeah, HBT. I agree. Wesley said, put your hands up for chair shape. Don't want to end up dead or in a wheelchair. Dude, like I said, it was wicked. And understand this. We're talking 4 feet from the ring. If that. The barricade tape was maybe 3 feet from the ring. I'm sitting directly behind it, just off the corner. Just, so the ring post is here. I'm sitting just inside, man. I'm right there. I got a great view of all the action pretty much all night long. Now, the chair shot took place real close to me, and I heard it. And when I did, my teeth hurt because of how hard it hit. It made my teeth hurt. So I know that boy was feeling it. The whole thing with the ukulele, we were wearing the ukulele when it was over. That shit landed on me. It landed on Brino Royce. It landed on Michael King beside him. It landed on Scott Larson. I think his wife. All of us were sitting there, and it was just like, what the hell just happened? That kid came out with his eyes just rolling. So I spoke to the boy. I call him a boy. I don't know how old the man is, but so he goes by Little City, and I didn't recognize him when he had the mask on. Then they announced it was Little City, and I'm like, well, man, I know this kid from somewhere else. What the hell? And I had to think about it. I said, after the show ended, I walked up to him. I said, hey, man, let me ask you a question. He goes, you know me from somewhere else, don't you? I said, yeah, I think you used to have face paint like this with your hand up. And it's like, what the shit? You're entirely different. And I didn't realize, the size of this young man. So I give a lot of props to the kid for taking that shot. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to tell you flat out, you don't have to be honest with me. You don't have to tell me whether it really rung your bell or not. I said, but I'm going to tell you this. You had me concerned, and I know better. So he was like, that's a hell of a compliment. Thank you, sir. And, I said, thank you for, your time to speak with me. I looked at the young lady that he was talking about. I said, thank you, ma'am, because I walked up to 2 people, one being a talent, one being not a talent. You don't want to be unprofessional or rude to somebody. I thanked her for allowing me to speak with him. That's a level of professionalism. I waited until Chase Emery turned around before I, gave him a dap and say, man, look, good shit. Hey, can't wait to see you again. I'll see you at the show in Union, I guess. I made sure to make my peace and say hey to everybody I could. I'm on my way out the door and I hear somebody, hey, man, hey, Ron, do you want a donut? Like, who the hell knows my name in this hole? Because I'm not from there. This ain't my town. I don't know these folks, man. It happened to be Missy Childers hollering at me. So thank you, Missy. I greatly appreciate the gesture. I appreciate the poster. It was a fun show. I had a great time. Well worth the cost of admission. But my cost of admission was taken care of the moment I got to shake hands with Scott Larson and have my picture taken with HBT and Chris Burton, man, as well as Scott. So I was stoked and good from there on. I was done. The rest of the night was just a bonus to me. I've heard in the locker room encourages you to keep your hands down and if you put your hands up, you're considered soft. Well, fuck them and fuck their opinions, because I've had a concussion. I've had a headache that lasted for 9 months because of a concussion. So I really don't care about that. If you're considered soft in the back, that's cool. I want to be able to drive when I'm 60 or 50, depending upon how old this kid is, 40 maybe. I hate not having a good memory now from a concussion. So I really don't give a rat's ass about what's considered cool or whatever in the back. I there That's a great Wesley. Thank you, Wesley. Freaking thank you, dude. You see this statement right here, considered soft in the back. Allow me to put this in a different perspective for anybody and everybody. And I don't care what side of the curtain you come from, what side of the rope you're on, what side of the barricade you're on, or whether you even make it in the damn arena to see the show. I'm going to say this. This right here is a toxic issue. It's a toxic issue. And the reason I'm going to tell you it's a toxic issue is this, because you're not there for the boys in the back. You're not there to pop the boys in the back. You're there to pop the crowd. You pop the guys in the back, they are not paying you. The promoter paid you. The promoter gets his money from the crowd that showed up. The crowd shows up because you perform well. If your ass takes a beating and you get a concussion, you can't be there for 3 months or whatever concussion protocols are. You can't perform. You can't work. You can't work. You can't draw. If you don't draw, what good are you to the promoter? Don't pop the boys in the back. Pop the asses in the seats that paid to be there to see you perform. And in the words of my man Scott Larson right here, concussion sucks, and that's the hashtag fucking truth. Ain't no joke. God damn it, that made me mad. Wesley, you chiming in, you've had several. Brother, you and I could do a show about concussions for all I know. It's ridiculous. It's asinine to me. And yeah, y'all see me getting hyped up and pissed off because I just really didn't agree with a no-handed chair shot. Caleb Crocker, if you want to say anything about it, if you see this by some fluke of freaking luck, reach out to me. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it live on air. I got no problem talking about it live on air. But as a fan, as a mark, as y'all would call me, or as a smark, because I've been behind the curtain and I work behind the curtain already, you're really still going to have a hard time selling me on this being a good freaking idea. And to anybody that doesn't like the foul language, I'm sorry, I'm pissed. That really just didn't sit well for me. To me, it sucked the life right out of the room. It didn't have people waiting on bated breath to see you're okay. It had more people like, God damn, why would he do that? Was that worth it? That was a statement that I heard from more than one person. Was it worth it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. The show was fun. The show was a great time. I don't want anybody thinking any misconceptions about that because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. I thoroughly enjoyed the show. And to anybody concerned, I predominantly sit on my hands at wrestling shows because I like to analyze and break it down and understand and see where the holes are in the game and see where rubber meets the road. I like understanding that aspect of it. I love to see how the wrestlers change the pace to make the fans eat that shit up. I love that part. That's my part. That's the meat and potatoes of the whole freaking show. That's where the life is for me. No amount of money to make up for a concussion. You ain't bullshitting. Then we had Wesley talk about walking to a room, forget why I came there. I come back after a couple seconds. I know it's from the concussion. I also have insomnia. Dude, I don't have insomnia. Thank God. But it's like, I was in the middle of a conversation the other day at work. And somebody walked out the room and they were saying something. They came back in and apologized to me for something. And I looked at them like I had no clue what they were talking about because I remembered part 1, 2 of the conversation, but part 3 was completely freaking deleted. It was just, I have no clue what they were talking about. And it's like, damn, does that really happen that often? And I got to thinking about like, shit, yeah, it does. I'm just glad it doesn't happen to me while driving. or trying to, do something remotely important. Let's see here. Straight headshots are very dangerous in many ways, man. I believe I know it. I know it, Scott, man. I know it. But once again, brother, I was happy to see you. That made the trip worth it right there. I don't care what anybody says. Seeing you and the four of us together, sold. Let's see here. HBT, yeah, man, it sucks. And I'm 43. Dude, hell, brother, you got some age on me. But, that was our conversation about the show. Overall, like I said, it was a fun time at the bunkhouse, bro. Chase Emery winning the belt was cool. Mean Dean Richards winning the trophy. He's going to cash it in against Chase because there's some stuff there. Now, what was funny was Derek Driver, man. He's another pretty well-known cat. He's been around. He's been on some TV, if I'm not mistaken. So this cat gets eliminated right in front of me. And Brino Royce takes a business card from King Enterprises and chucks it on him. Derek Driver looks at the card like, what the shit, and then rips it off. Then he throws another one on him. He immediately gets up and just walks out of the arena. I'm like, oh. So it's not exactly the greatest way, I guess, to get attention or heat, but it worked because your presence was felt. And then, man, just standing up, taunting Chase, and then the photo after. Oh, because you can't tell whether he's eliminated or not in the picture because Brino's head's blocking the view of his feet. And I didn't see it because I was out of the way. But, man, it was just, there was so many little nuances that came out of that show. There's a lot of good story building here. There's a lot of things going on with that I don't even know what the hell's going on with it. So it's even better. I like being surprised. Other than when I have to announce your name, I don't want to know shit if I'm at a show. Don't tell me the card. Don't let me in on the stuff unless I'm working on it. I want to be as surprised of what's going to happen as everybody else. What I need to know are if I'm working any independent show is real freaking simple. I need to know the names of the talent, and I need to know the names of some of their special move with a description of what it is so I can think about it and process it and be able to deliver. Oh, my God, that move was amazing. Here we freaking go. That's life, man. That's living in the moment and that delivery. You know who else does that really well is Pat McAfee. He don't want to be there when he finds out who's going on, who's going over, what's going to happen. He leaves the conversation. He wants to be as surprised as a fan, and that's why it's freaking real with him. That's why I love it. I think that's why a lot of people gravitate to that man being so good on commentary. Just as it goes, I think a lot of people think he's awesome on commentary because of the heart and soul he pours into it. And it doesn't go unnoticed by us, the fans. I love him on commentary exactly for that. That's a damn fine cup of coffee. Ain't gonna lie to you. Folgers 1850 puts out some hellacious coffee. All right. We're going to talk. I can't even really talk about NXT. I can give you the results. Creed defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans. I really disagree with that. I think GYV, yet again, one of the greatest tag teams on the planet today. Grizzled Young Veterans, Imperium, FTR. Those guys are all in my top 5. And the other two will have to be, announced on their own. MSK is up there for me. I think the NXT delivers better on tag team than the major shows. The Street Profits are up there for me. There's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of them. Yeah, definitely the Street Profits in my top 5 for current tag teams running. Very entertaining. The New Day's awesome, but the New Day's legendary at this point, man. They're just you don't have to mention the New Day, like you don't have to mention Edge and Christian or the Hardy Boys anymore. In my book, they've been doing it for so long; it's just that good. Tiffany Stratton defeated Wendy Cho, so I dig Wendy Cho, man. The whole sleepy gimmick and give me my bed, my pillow, and my drink. I'm good. Dude, I love the shtick, man. I love it. It reminds me of my wife, so that's why I really love it. I got to get her to watch so they can be up there as well. Bro, dude, don't even start. Usos or Briscoes. Yet again, two more legendary tag teams that just fit the build of what I perceive as greatness. I'm gonna have to sit back and analyze. I'm really gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to sit back and analyze and say my top teams and do that. But I think I'm gonna choose a different platform to do that. Hey, Harry and Chris, let's set up a thing where we talk about tag team wrestling, just amongst us. The three of us will hash this out. Good. Let me know what you think. We'll pick a night. We'll do a thing. Brino says, "Boy, I miss American Out." Dude, you ain't lying, man. Charlie Haas came back and got freaking hurt. That shit sucks. I am not about it that he came back and got hurt. He went back to Impact and then immediately got hurt first night. I think he was hurt after the match. I really don't know. I need to get a hold of a couple people to get a hold of a couple people to get a hold of Mr. Haas. I would love to speak with Charlie Haas live on air if he has time to do it. It'd be phenomenal. I'm going to have to just reach out to – I'm going to have to send the messages, man. I'm just going to have to do the damn thing. It's what it is. But so Tiffany Stratton, hell of a pedigree, hell of a look, and her moveset seems to be pretty solid. Dude, NXT 2.0 is killing it in my book. Their women's division is still pretty hot and heavy. But there's variety into it. There's a lot there to choose from. I dig it. The House of Pain was a great finisher. Hell yeah, Wesley. I agree, man. Pete Dunne defeated Draco Anthony or Pete Dunne. Man, look, why is this cat still on NXT? Why is he not on one of the main shows? Where are you going to put him? There's a lot of places you can put him. I'm not saying you have to break up current storylines, but you're going to need some filler matches. And right now, before he gets invested in a storyline or involved in a storyline, we can stick him in the main shows doing random matches with random people. Give me Pete Dunne versus Riddle. Like 3 times. I'm good. Give me Pete Dunne versus Chad Gable, please. Please. I want that. Give me Pete Dunne versus Randy Orton even. I mean, Randy gonna beat that ass, but I think it'd be a good showing for him. All right. Brino, motherfucker. Look. All right. So I'm gonna put this one up first. Pete Dunne is God. He's one of the highest people in the company wrestling wise. I agree. No problem. Give me Dunne versus Cesaro. Yeah, please. Yet again, sign me up. I want it. But this is bullshit, and you know it. You don't give me that shit. All right, look. I'm going to go ahead and say Pete Dunne versus CM Punk would be good in AEW. I'm going to say that Pete Dunne versus Chris Jericho would be good in AEW. Pete Dunne versus Bryan Danielson would be good in AEW. I'm out of names now. The logistics of a Dunne versus Mox match don't match up because Mox is more brawler and Pete's just violent. You feel me? Like it's a good mix, but it's not a good clash. I don't see that as being as impressive. Whereas, man, Gable and Orton and Cesaro, Dunne versus the world, baby. Dunne versus the world. I am all in on that one. Let's see. You had LA Knight defeated Sanga. Okay. Is this that 7-foot cat that was like super touted a week ago, or is this somebody different? Because I don't know who Sanga is. But LA Knight, yet again, main roster Brown, and we need to go. Man, Pete Dunne, if they let him be technical, can make anyone good, in my opinion. 100% agree. But I want to see, I don't need him to make people look good. Cesaro already looks great. So does so does the other aforementioned names that I mentioned from the WWE main shows. Talking about shit. See, that's that memory thing right there, guys. Talking about Pete Dunne versus Riddle, that would be money. Him versus Corbin, that'd be kind of like him versus Moxley in my book. More like, man, him versus what is the other half of the Street Profits? Not Montez Ford, but the other cat, Dawkins. Man, him and Dawkins would be money. Him and Dawkins would be money too. That's another money fight right there. Trust me on that. Man, anybody sleeping on Dawkins for being a athletic some bitch that can go, you're smoking crack and you haven't even got the free pipe yet. Like, no sell. Bullshit. Let's see. Man, you don't know that. All right. There's a difference between getting behind somebody and the crowd really getting behind somebody and being treated good in the long term. So when you're talking about guys like Finn Balor, okay, Finn Balor got real hot real fast, right? Then he got the Universal title, so on and so forth. But then all of a sudden, man, he got hurt. He was gone for a while. And when he came back, he never had that same fire around him. Then he went down to NXT and he built some of that fire back up, but it just wasn't enough. It just hasn't been enough fire around him. And that's not to say that, look, do you think he'd still be on the roster if he wasn't making money? No, of course not. But right now, it's just not the right time to get him hot. Vince is no idiot. Vince knows what he's doing. And anybody pretending that Vince doesn't know what to do with a talent, you've lost your mind. You've lost your mind to say that Vince McMahon doesn't know how to handle a talent. Does he manage every talent properly? No. But the guys where he can make the most of, he can get it out of them. And when you're going to get that out of there, oh, dude, man, Dolph Ziggler versus Pete Dunne. Sign me up. I want that one too. Twice on Sundays. Man, Sami Zayn. You marking out to damn Scott Larson now. I hear you jobbing to Scott on that. Give me a break. Look, Sami Zayn's a talented wrestler, but he's not all that good on the mic. He's generic, though. Like, there's nothing that pops out about him. Ziggler's another great wrestler, but at the same time, you've got what's special. He's diet HBK in my book. That's the thing, and that's what Vince sees too. Vince sees the next level of HBK, but he doesn't see it as good because he can't draw as much money as Shawn Michaels did. No, I'm talking about guys that Vince doesn't know how to handle. I mean, they're making money and they're performing well. Just because you're a fan, they need to be multi-time world champion. What are we getting at here, Brino? What are we getting at here, man? Oh, man. But yeah, hey, look, dude, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a big fan of LA Knight and Eli Drake. Yeah, man. I like Eli Drake. But Dolph Ziggler crashes the championship summit between Braun Breaker and Santos Escobar. For what reason? Like, what is that about? What's that going to achieve? What are we obtaining out of that? I mean, there's a lot to it. Scott, Dunn can learn some showmanship from Sammy. We don't want his career ruined, so let's not do that. Dunn could show Sammy some moves. Sammy's got moves, but they don't have any panache. There's no gaga to them. There's no reason to buy into it. That's my whole thing. Like, there's no reason to buy into Sami Zayn being a great competitor because his moves just look basic. And that's the problem with Sami Zayn. He looks like a basic balding mother from Canada, but he doesn't have the flair behind his movements like a standard Canadian wrestler does. Prime example. I would go as far to say that Sami Zayn is probably in better physical condition than Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens outperforms him with ease. And there's no lying about that. With ease, he outperforms Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens is probably one of the best wrestlers on the roster, and I freaking love to see it. Let's see here. Getting back in there. Saray defeated Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai losing to the Warrior of the Sun is just an awkward segue. I don't know in which direction they're going with this, but I'm hoping Kai ends up on the main roster here in the next 6 months or so. MSK defeated Malik Blade and Ender Sanofi in a Dusty Classic match. All right. If you're pushing new talent and you're sending other talent out the door, putting MSK into the finals, it looks like, are you going to have them lose? Because we got to have a reason for them to lose. It's got to make sense, man. It's got to make sense. Mandy Rose defeated Kaylee Ray in an NXT Women's Championship match. Yeah, because of a bunch of shit interference. Guys, yet again, putting people on TV. Just put people on TV. You're kind of killing it for me. All right, here. Who's got something to add to that? Because it's the same shit that AEW does, man, and it kills me when they do it. But at any rate, I know we're getting close to Super Bowl, so I'm not going to try to be real long-winded about anything. AEW. A lot of people give me a lot of grief about AEW, and rightfully so. I understand why. I critique AEW a lot harder, but what's weird about AEW is this, for as popular as this is, the moment I mention AEW, my viewers cut slap in half. Even if I'm giving it props or if I'm critiquing it, you would figure one way or the other people want to hear it. But alas, here we go. I don't want to stream this episode on demand. Let's see here. MJF getting carried out on the throne, Wardlow and all them in the ring. Punk coming out, talking the jargon. You know which direction this is going. This segment was great. I think it was a little bit too long. They did a lot of talking and stuff. But now you had the Blade versus Wardlow. Not a bad match, but why did you have to have Shawn Spears crawl into the ring and hit somebody with a chair that was already beaten? It's already over. It's like he's got to get in the ring just to get some sort of cheap pop on it. It's weird. It's very gimmicky. I'm not into it. The Inner Circle team meeting was next. Wasn't a bad segment. Basically, it's going to be a tag match, and Sammy's in the back chilling. Sammy's trying to stay out of all this shit. Let's see here. Base of the Revolution qualifying match. Isaiah Cassidy versus Limitless Keith Lee, who made his debut. Look, man, I'm a big Keith Lee fan. Keith Lee looked like $1 million. Isaiah Cassidy didn't look too bad. Matt Hardy walking out, man, I was like, oh, Matt Hardy just walked out. I think Jeff's going to show up later tonight because, man, Punk looking for a partner. Him and Jeff got bad history, but I think it'd be pretty cool to see how it pans out. Then you go on and on down the line. I'm like, who knows more about tag team wrestling than the Hardy Boys? They'd be great. You know, the one Hardy brother plus CM Punk would be great up against, FTR. I thought that would have been a cool match and a cool spot, but we all know how it went down, and we'll get to it here in a little bit. Once again, Keith Lee looked amazing, man. He looked like $1 million. They made him look real good. I've always been a big fan of Keith Lee ever since I seen him. Then after, seeing him debut, learning that he was trained by Killer Tim Brooks down in Texas, along with my good friend, Mr. Randy Wayne. Mr. Wayne, if you're listening to this, I hope you're doing well where you are with your job, pal. And when you get back to some form or fashion where you're not in 30-degree below weather and you can jump on and join the show, I'd love to have you. I just want to talk wrestling with a tried and true veteran. And because you got more mileage on you than most of these cats in the independent leagues do. And hell, I just want to hear it, man. I want to hear some Killer Tim Brooks stories. I want to hear about interactions, and I want to understand what it was like being brought into the fold by that man. So that was for you, Randy Wayne. FTR versus Punk and Mox. Cool match. Like I said earlier, probably one of the best tag matches I've seen in a long time. But that's because predominantly there's not that many great tag teams. So if you have one good tag team and one's over here, they can only make everybody else look so good before it's just lackluster. Yeah, like that, losing its flavor and all, man. It just kind of draws me out. Jade Cargill versus AQA. AQA made her work. It was all right. I'm not a big they've got to get the view on how they want Jade perceived locked in and leave it locked. I don't want to see Goliath falling short against David, or Goliath versus Davidina, or however you want to describe it. But I just don't want to see I don't want to see the little guy chances every time. It just doesn't fit worth a damn to me if you're always having characters playing from the bottom and fighting to crawl up from the low end. It just working from underneath just doesn't have that many comeback great stories. Great comeback stories this ain't the movies. There's not always a happy ending here. Sometimes you just need to get your ass beaten and go home. Then we went into the 5-minute challenge. I thought that this was okay, and I'm going to tell you why. Anybody pretending that Serena Deeb is not one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet has lost their ever-loving mind. Anybody pretending that Serena Deeb is not the best women's professional wrestler in AEW has really lost their shit. And anybody pretending that she's not one of the top 5 women's wrestlers on the planet is out of their freaking mind, period. Serena Deeb is a treasure, a wealth of information, a phenomenal athlete, and I cannot wait to see her versus Baker, because I do not believe there's a bigger way to elevate your current champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, than to have her defend against, beat possibly Serena Deeb. I think Serena Deeb needs the strap, but that's just me, because I believe she deserves to be that standard bearer at some point in time. And look, people agreeing, man. People agreeing with the Saint. I don't lie. I don't tell no shit. I'm telling you what's up. Serena Deeb is a freaking just talent. There, you can't get that. You can't teach that. You can't just. It's almost indescribable. What in the blue hell? Brooke Baker's Adam Cole and real? Yes. Britt Baker is Adam Cole's fiance in real life. Yes. And then she's a champion for real. Love her. Hey, dude, I agree, man. I think Serena Deeb is one of the, like I said, she's easily one of the top 3 women's wrestlers on the planet today. She's easily in the top 3 to 5 women's wrestlers on the planet today. I'd really have to sit down and think and dedicate my time to that conversation point. She's easily in the top 10, 15 wrestlers on the planet today. I'm more of the technical prowess. I was a Bret Hart guy, man. I freaking loved Bret Hart. I thought that the excellence of execution was the way to be. I remember, I'm talking pre-Stone Cold era, okay? I'm talking back when he was the IC champ, I was like, that's the dude. That's the way this has got to go, man. He's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was all there. It's her and Ashley Flair. Yeah, man. Yeah, Charlotte, you're right. It's Ashley Flair. Unless she's got her maiden name. If she's got her maiden name back, it's Flair. And then if she's got her divorce whatever time name, then it's whatever the hell that last name is. Because I don't know. I try to stay out of the E-True Hollywood bullshit of wrestling. But that's just me. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I believed it until he lost his mind on social media. I'm not going to allow his remarks about the business and about what's going on and things like that to taint my opinion of him in his past. Please, brother, shut up. Just stop saying dumb shit online because it's not doing you any favors. Because in my brain, I still see you walking out and putting the sunglasses on some kid. I still live in that moment. That's where I'm alive at, is right there when it comes to you. See, do you think he knew about the Montreal screw job and was in on it as well? Nope. He did not know a goddamn thing. Not a thing. Now, I don't think Hunter knew about it either. I think Hunter had to play along. Now, if Hunter knew because Sean told him. But in my book, I believe the way it went was Vince told Sean. Vince told the ref. Game over. That's it. Or maybe Vince told the ref, when this happens, ring the bell. And that's it. And didn't even tell Sean. But according, maybe Sean was, I don't know. Guess what? This is one of my favorite things to say. Kind of like, some of those court cases we don't agree with. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't prove it. The glove don't fit. You must have quit. Hey, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I can't, I hear you, brother. Dark Side of the Ring covered it very well. I got to get into watching that. I'm probably like 8 years behind now, but there's some things I don't want to see. There's just some things I don't want to see. But anyway, Serena Deeb won that in like a minute flat. It's cool because of why. They're showing you that there is no competition for Serena Deeb in AEW. And God is my witness. I'll tout it. I'll say it till that woman's no longer on the roster. She needs to be the champ. All right. So the world title Texas Death Match. Why? At what point did this feud build to that level? Or did you book yourself into a corner where this was the only logical way you could keep the belt on Adam Page without having Lance Archer look like a jackass for losing? Because that's what it is. There was no logical way you were going to have Adam Page defeat Lance Archer in a match that made any logical sense. It's not there. It doesn't work that way. Guys, do me a favor. I know I got a bunch of y'all watching in here, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If something's going on with the super shit show that I don't care about, I'm gonna watch the halftime show. Let me know when this damn thing starts, and I'll wrap it up. I gotta go eat anyway soon, but we're gonna switch gears to Impact. Now, Impact was kind of weird for me. I was tuned in to podcast that night, so I was watching Scott Larson. I was watching Chris Burton and Harry Bernard Taylor, but Impact was on. So I had an earbud in and I had the TV on, and I'm trying to pay attention and watch at the same time. It was very hard for me to absorb much of anything from anything, but I was able to pick up on a lot of fun parts and, keep up with it. Apparently Alicia versus Lady Frost. I don't even remember that. Oh, yeah, I saw the moonsault ending. Fine. Josh Alexander versus Big Con. Dude, that was a cool match. Josh Alexander is one of the best things Impact has going. And to be fair, Moose is a good wrestler. for the type of wrestler he is. He's not bad on the mic. He's got a good look. He's got a killer personality. He draws a lot of heat, so on and so forth. The money match is Josh Alexander versus W. Morrissey, who looks phenomenal, and I'm glad he's in great shape, and I'm glad he's doing well with his body and his health and his career. I'm really happy to see that he's come this far. So good job, dude. Keep up the good work. I freaking dig it. Now, Josh Alexander goes on to speak about whatever he had to talk about. And then at some point in time, I thought he was telling him to like go home or get out of the ring or whatever, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Moving forward. The AAA, Reina de Reinas and ROH Women's World Champion Deonna Purrazzo defeated Santana Garrett for the ROH Women's World Championship. Look, Santana Garrett's been around the world, man, 100 times over. She is a hell of a hand. She's pretty good to watch. But I don't see why there's just random. What doesn't work for me is on Impact is some of the intangibilities where it doesn't make sense that these people end up in these matches, but why are they in the match? Where's the story for this? Where's the continuity for this? Where's anything for this? That's just like the weird thing that kills me. Now, the match between Mickie James and Chelsea Green was freaking gold, solid gold. Because I like Mickie James. She's one of my handful of top female wrestlers that's still working full time. I think she's an excellent worker. Good on the mic. She's great on the eyes. What more do you want for a great representation of a world champion than a Mickie James? And then it ended by a DQ, which was freaking weird. But they had to do something. It's going to lead to Mickie and Chelsea versus whoever the shit them other two was, Tasha Steeles and whoever that other big person was that looked like the chick from the Friday movie that was giving out that was giving the treats out or something. She get all the blacklisted snacks. That's her. Damn, I can't think of that. Baby girl or something like that. Somebody's baby girl, somebody's sister. I don't remember. But that's who that girl reminds me of. That's how her character looked. But here we go with a comment here. First time or sixth-time WWE Women's Champion. Met her when she was with TNA. We had a moment, eye to eye. Oh, right on. Dude, well, I mean, she's from Richmond, so, homie, she ain't that far from you. My coworker I used to work with in Virginia used to date her sister, actually. But so let's see here. Moving on through the night. Mike Bennett and Matt Taven versus Rich Swann and Rhino. Man, of course, you're going to have Taven and Bennett go over in this mess because it makes no sense for Rich Swann and Rhino to win. Y'all got to build the allure that outsiders can come in and break all the rules. It's really very NWO prototypical storyline here. But either way, just good shit. I mean, I like Rich Swann anyway, Baltimore homie. I hate Baltimore, but I mean, my wife's from there. So I guess, other than a Greyhound bus that's empty, some good things did come out of Baltimore, but not many. Let's see here. And Brian Myers with the Learning Tree versus W. Morrissey. No DQ. Just awkward. There was a lot of weird spots in this. Brian Myers, yet again, another talented wrestler, hell of a hand. I'm really excited to see how they're going to continue doing this with Myers, considering what's going on with Mr. Matt Cardona. So, there's a lot of moving parts here, ladies and gentlemen. So there's a lot of good stuff to pay attention to there. And that was the end of Impact Wrestling. Now, moving forward, we are heading to – oh, you know what? Hold on. Now that was the end of Impact Wrestling. And I keep forgetting about these damn banners because I get switched over to the comments and I'm chatting with all you guys. So I forget to switch the banners all the time. It works great with my concussion symptoms. So there's that. Let's see here. We're moving on. We're going into SmackDown. Man, so Sonya Deville attempted to find Ronda and suspend her and all this shit. McMahon denied all that and then ordered her not to touch Naomi, which was cool. Naomi come out, slapped Taste right out the mouth. Good shit. Los Lotharios versus Big E and Kofi. And it was really wicked that they had Angel go over Kofi with a quick win out of nowhere. The way they pulled that off, I mean, was nothing short of astonishing to me. Overall, it was a good tag match. I'm not going to say it was a real good tag match because flyer beef. It's just a bit of contrast in styles there. Oh, and by the way, for anybody who watches and is involved with the HWA thing, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. I want Little City and Jersey Red versus Caleb Crocker and Stone Cold Fox Larkin. Thank you. And hey, you're welcome for the idea, but put that out there. And then I also want to see Luke Fury versus Kid Cutter. And thank you yet again. You're welcome for that little tidbit of information. Or shit I think the fans will like to see. I think those will be some fun and entertaining deals. And you could even throw some stipulations in there, maybe throw a title on that. I don't know. You can do some weird stuff with those combinations of matches. But Jersey Red and Little City versus Larkin and Caleb Crocker. That would be fun shit. Let's book that. And then anybody who knows Kid Cutter versus Luke Fury, freaking money match, man. That would be a money match. Let's see here. They did some backstage video with Reigns talking about Goldberg. Look, Goldberg got one match left on his contract, is what I understand. That's what I've been told of. That was the deal. So this is his last one. Please, for the love of God, no more contract. Just you're done. It's over. Let's not keep doing this. I like Bill Goldberg. I enjoyed watching him in the ring. I don't need to see it anymore. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. So that's why I don't want that. Natalya defeated Aaliyah. So her undefeated streak has ended. Now, it could only end out in pin or submission, and Aaliyah tapped out to the sharpshooter, which, Ray Charles could have seen that this is how this feud needed to come to an end. But now the feud is going from Aaliyah into Xia Li, which works out. I mean, it's going to be cool. I think Xia Li is a very talented wrestler going up against Natalya, who is a world-renowned, just excellent competitor. There's no reason for her to not have a good match with Xia Li. I just really think it's going to be pretty sweet. Sami Zayn attacked Shinsuke on the podcast. Okay. I mean, it worked because you're trying to build a story and you're trying to build continuity. Kind of picked a few weird talking points there, Sammy guy, but whatever. Happy Corbin defeating Cesaro kind of blew my mind. I never expected that to happen. Predominantly because unless you're going to start getting some of these fellers injected into the title picture, what's the point of having them going up and over each other? It's just really weird to me. Strange times, guys. Then Goldberg had to talk about his elimination chamber and how he's going to take the title from Roman. Dude, I don't think it's going to happen. Not even a little bit, not at all. Yeah, Charlotte Flair defeated Naomi in one of the best women's matches I have seen in quite a long time. Match of the night by far was the women's heavyweight title. And boy, oh boy, why are we surprised with Charlotte Flair? You know, a lot of people give her a lot of shit. Oh, she's booked too strong. Oh, this and oh, that. Look here, man. Who else could go and perform like that and do it? Serena Deeb, yeah, but you're running out of names real quick on people that can perform at that level, at that pace for that long, and for this length of a time period as well. I don't agree with people giving Charlotte Flair shit. Trust me, I give her enough shit because of how she's booked. If she went out for 3 years to have a kid and came back, she'd be gold because it'd be awesome to see what they would do with developing her. How it would go with her returning back. And if she still had that drive and desire to be that good. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, into the last freaking thing I can cover. AEW Rampage. So this show was short as hell, but it wasn't bad. It was a fun time and it was a good time, man. I enjoyed it. And now by this point in time, I was already pretty tired. But just the way things go in AEW, you get so slaughtered with so many people coming in and out on a match. It's just weird. So you had Roppongi Vice, which is Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, who have apparently teamed together before overseas versus the Young Bucks. Apparently, this has all happened before. Anyway, they had a good match. And of course, the Jacksons aren't going to lose. So it worked. Once again, wasn't a bad match. It was just weird that yet again, after the match, here comes Kill Switch or Switchblade, delivering, I believe, what's called the Kill Switch on Cassidy. Oh no, he did the Blade Runner on Orange Cassidy. Man, just it's so convoluted that it almost becomes intangible and unobtainable and unabsorbable. It becomes hard to invest in as a fan. It's interesting because it's so fast, but it's just hard to grasp because there's so much going on at one time. Tony Schiavone interviewed Bryan Danielson because they're talking about, I guess, the whole deal with Moxley. And then now we got Lee Moriarty versus American Dragon next week. That's going to be a barn burner, man. It's got all the right tools and pieces to put it together. I can't wait to see it happen. I've been thinking about doing some live reaction shows. Because somebody asked me about that last week. Why don't you do a live reaction watch along thing? My whole issue with the live reaction watch along is that I'm pretty much required to be here. You're going to hear me like eat, drink, smoke, and everything else on here. And I just don't know if I want to have that much time invested in a show every night, because that's 11 hours on top of this and on top of side projects like, this one coming up called The Hot Tag between me and Stravy Stones, my boy from PA, and then the ever so random occurrence of the Round Table Rumble on Tuesday nights. Whenever that's going to happen again, I'm sure you'll hit the invite. You'll get the invite for it right here on Facebook. Then you've got the shows that I chime in on, occasionally asking me to jump in, whether it be Scott Larson on hashtag or whether it be Harry Bernard Taylor and Christopher Burton on the Straight Up Wrestling Show. I've got no problem jumping in. Guys, the predominant reason I comment on all your stuff is because if people are quiet, I don't want people quiet. I want people to ask more questions. So maybe I ask a question or maybe I make an asshole statement. And when I do that, all of a sudden more people chime in like, oh, that prick's wrong. Perfect. You did exactly what I wanted you to do. You fed into it. You fed into my bullshit to have more conversation and be more involved with it. That's the only reason I ever chime in on y'all's shows. And, well, that and, I love talking to you guys. I love having opinions. and you guys like to talk about everything. So shit, it's like it's fun for me, for all of us to kind of be there and do the same thing together. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Britt Baker with Rebel versus Robin Renegade, the girl who said she was going to lick a lot of ass on Twitter. Well, there wasn't enough ass licking for me, but there was enough ass kicking for me. It was entertaining. I mean, it was good. It wasn't a bad match. Anybody saying it was a bad match, you're out of your freaking mind. Personally, there's a lot going on, and if you didn't notice the whole thing with Jamie Hayter, Thunder Rosa, Mercedes Martinez, dude, there's a lot going on here. I can't wait for Jamie Hayter to be off on her own, because I'm a firm believer that Jamie Hayter is an excellent hand, a great talent. I want to see Hayter versus legit Layla Hirsch like nobody's business. I want to see Hayter tie it up with some of the best talent that there is there. Same with legit Layla Hirsch. I want to see both of those tying it up with Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. I want to see all those matches. Chris Statlander is kind of mid in my book. She's very popular, and that's cool. And she's pretty good in the ring. But I want to see these more different style grounders fight higher level wrestling talent and higher, I'm not going to say higher level talent, more renowned talent. Let's go with more renowned, more, they're of higher stature in the wrestling eyes. You know, I want to see those type of matches, because I think that's what's going to make them either sink or swim. You running with the big dogs, get your ass off the porch type of statement there. Hook versus QT Marshall's top student, Blakely. Everybody knew where it was going. That's the problem right now with the way they've got it booked. Thank God they're doing it slow and they're doing it on Rampage, because if they did this shit on Dynamite, the world would have shit on him by now. So, I mean, yet again, one of those things where they're doing it right with the slow build, but how slow is too slow? I don't want him falling in reverse, okay? Damn, that's good, even cold. Yeah, I've been sitting here for over 2 hours. Guarantee you that mess is cold. That's what's up. So main event time. Let me finish up about Hook and Blakely. Good stuff between them. Obviously, Hook going over makes sense. Jericho color commentating at the beginning was awesome, dude. Yeah, always. I really don't think there's nothing in this world that Jericho couldn't do when it came to professional wrestling. Soundtracks for shows, all the interest music, book it, promote it, write it, sell it, buy it, all of it. I think Jericho could do it all. I don't think he wants the headache of doing it all, but I think he could do it all. Main event, AEW tag title match. Jurassic Express versus the Gun Club. Dude, we know where it's going. The Ass Boys are not prime real estate to hitch to yet to drag your tag division. I think it's going to go the direction of FTR taking the belts from these cats, but they just lost to a non-team in Punk and Mox. Does that hurt their reputation, their believability? I don't know, man, because you got two main event level talents in Mox and Punk versus a who the hell are you? FTR at that rate, but you got the best tag team apparently in the world by a lot of people's expectations and comments. Like I said, they're in the top conversation, no doubt, but are they the top? I don't know. It is what it is. But that is it for the recap, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody has had fun. Let's see what we got here for comments. I've got some viewers still, and we're coming up on the last couple minutes of the show. Anyway, I wanted to get out of here before the Super Bowl started because the Super Bowl is apparently stuff that interests other people. but not me. I saw a picture earlier this week where this is the only Super Bowl I know about, and it was a gigantic marijuana pot bowl, weed bowl, whatever you want to call it. It was one of those things that just a huge thing, and dude had a blowtorch. And I'm like, well, that's probably how a lot of people are going to have to watch the Super Bowl, is smacked out of their mind. I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to be sitting here eating food, talking with my kids, talking with my wife, whatever. Shit, they're coming out on the field now. Ladies and gentlemen, I freaking love you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to my guest, Mr. Shane Dorr. Homie, class act. Can't wait to meet you in person. Can't wait to work with you. I'm super excited, really stoked. We're going to have to get some I may have to get some video footage to you just so you know what's coming your way. But I can't wait to be there March the 5th in Columbia, South Carolina. Columbia, Lincolnton, South Carolina, somewhere. It's in that area. Lexington, I believe. Fucking fine. No. I can't wait to be there. I'll be there. I already got a GPS here because I found the venue you were talking about. So I will damn sure be there. I already know how far away it is. I know when I got to leave one show to get to the next. I'm ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been real. It has been fun, and it has been real fun. Thank you once again for tuning into the show. Please go on all the Facebooks, likes, shares, subscribes, all that happy horse shit. Go to the YouTube, like, share, subscribe, notifications. Let your friends know if you like wrestling and they like wrestling that you want to come on here and talk about wrestling with me. So, and my other guest, thank you, Mr. Wesley Flasky. Dude, I think one of these days I'm just going to have to pop you in here on video, and you and I are just going to have to talk shit and kind of figure out what's what, so you don't have to sit there and type the whole time. I think it'd be more fun that way. We'll work that out, man. I think that'll be a good time. Let's see here. Once again, YouTube, like, share, subscribe, notification. Let your friends know. Coming soon to Spotify. Coming soon to all your favorite podcast locations. You'll be able to download this show and share it with your friends. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some brand new ads just for that. So that way anybody that discovers it then realizes, oh, shit, I can be part of the show on Sunday. Hell yeah, you can. Bring that ass to me. Because we're here, we're live, we're doing it every time, and thus proclaimed the same.